pull up a chair for a second. Let's have a real talk, just between us. If you've been sending out your resume to dozens, maybe even hundreds of jobs and you're hearing nothing but silence, I want you to stop. Just stop for a moment. It's not because you aren't qualified. It's not because you aren't a hard worker. It's because the game has changed, and honestly, nobody handed you the new rulebook. I've been in this industry for 15 years. I've seen the highs and the lows. But what's happening right now? It's different. If you've been adding ChatGPT or AI tools to your skills list thinking it's your secret weapon, I have to be honest with you. You're actually waving a red flag to a recruiter in 2026. That line doesn't say you're a visionary. It says you're replaceable. Let that sink in for a second. Here's the reality we're living in. By the time we hit next year, between 83% and 91% of all corporate resumes will be screened by AI gatekeepers before a human ever sees them. We're seeing what I call the hyper-filtering gap. In the last year alone, job applications rose by 31%, but actual hires, they only went up by 1%. That means for every 100 people applying, only one is getting through the door. The average search for a white-collar job has stretched from 3 months to 5.5 months. It's exhausting, it's stressful, and if you feel like you're shouting into a void, it's because you're fighting a machine with a list of static skills, and the machine is winning. But here's the thing, there's a pattern among the people who are breaking through, and it's not about having more experience. It's about one specific shift in how they present themselves. So if listing the tool is the problem, what's the one line that actually makes a recruiter stop scrolling? Let's talk about it. But when I first saw the data from hiring managers this year, it completely changed how I think about career growth. See, for decades, we've been taught to be components. We learn a skill, we execute a task, we get a paycheck. We were the hands of the organization. But in a world where AI can do the handwork better, faster, and cheaper, being a component is a dangerous place to be. The people getting hired today, the ones commanding the high salaries, have moved from the hand to the brain. They aren't just writers or coders anymore. They are what I call workflow architects. Think about it this way. The market doesn't want to hire a better coder. They want to hire the person who can build the machine that does the coding. They don't want a person who can use an AI tool. They want someone who can orchestrate an entire agentic workflow. Here's why this matters. 80% of hiring managers now say they prioritize AI orchestration skills over traditional technical certifications. Why? Because expectations have shifted. 96% of business leaders have increased their productivity expectations because of AI. They aren't looking for someone to do the job, they're looking for someone to design the system that does the job 10 times faster. This is a shift from manual execution to system design. It's moving from being the person who follows the instructions to the person who writes the instructions for the AI agents. Now, this is the part that changes everything. When you stop presenting yourself as a worker and start presenting yourself as an architect, the conversation about your salary changes instantly. You aren't a commodity anymore. You're a multiplier. But what does this machine building actually look like on paper? How do you translate this architect mindset into a single line on your resume? Let's get practical. I want to show you exactly how to rewrite your experience. I've seen this play out 100 times, and the difference in response rates is staggering. Let's look at a before version, the kind that gets ghosted. A typical marketing manager might have a bullet point that says manage social media content and use ChatGPT to write weekly blog posts. To a recruiter, that's a 0. It tells them you can copy-paste. And now, let's look at the after version, the workflow architect version. Architected a multi-agent AI content engine that automated the end-to-end lifecycle from trend research to SEO-optimized publishing, increasing output by 400% while reducing overhead by 30%. Do you hear the difference? One is a task. The other is a system. I recently worked with a marketing manager who made this exact pivot. She was stuck at a $110,000 salary, getting passed over for senior roles. We sat down and re-architected her resume. Instead of listing her skills, we documented her agentic workflows. Within 3 months, she landed a role at $165,000 plus equity. She didn't learn a new language. She just changed her identity from a content creator to an AI operations architect. Here's another one for the developers out there. Instead of fixed bugs and maintained code base, try this. Deployed a self-healing code framework using RAG-based agents to identify and resolve 60% of Tier 1 bugs autonomously before they reached production. That one line tells a hiring manager that you aren't just a pair of hands. You are a system designer. And in 2026, system architects are commanding a 40% salary premium over traditional roles. We're seeing AI orchestrators land total compensation packages between $100,000 and $300,000. Let that number sit for a second. Now, you might be thinking that sounds great for a tech expert, but what if I'm starting from zero? What if I don't have a background in AI? I hear this all the time: I don't have the seniority, or I'm switching fields. But here's the secret that most people miss. Recruiters are desperate, right now. 71% of C-suite executives report a critical shortage of AI-ready talent. They have the tools, they have the budget, but they don't have the people who know how to build the workflows. When a recruiter looks at your resume, they spend an average of only 6 to 8 seconds on it before they make a decision. 6 seconds. They aren't reading your life story. They are scanning for proof of leverage. They want to see that if they hire you, you're going to bring a machine with you that makes the whole department better. This is why seniority is being bypassed. I've seen junior developers with 2 years of experience get hired over veterans with 10 years, simply because the junior dev could prove they knew how to manage an agentic workflow. The veteran was still talking about managing teams and project oversight. The junior was talking about agentic orchestration and automated systems. If you can prove you know how to manage a workflow that doesn't break when you aren't looking, the lack of experience suddenly doesn't matter as much. You are solving their most urgent problem, the AI talent gap. Recruiters are so hungry for this that they are willing to ignore a lack of traditional seniority if you can show architectural proof. That one line we talked about, that is your proof. It shows you aren't just a worker waiting for instructions, you're the person who builds the instructions. You have the framework, you've seen the examples. Now let's put this into motion before the sun sets today. I don't want you to just listen to this and feel motivated. I want you to act. Because by 2027, 44% of all core worker skills are predicted to be disrupted. Survival in this market isn't about working harder. It's about pivoting faster. So, here's your homework. It's a 24-hour pivot. Open your resume right now. Look at the very first bullet point under your most recent role. Usually, it's an execution bullet, something like responsible for or managed. I want you to delete it. Rewrite it using this formula. Architected a system name using AI agentic workflow to specific business action, resulting in concrete data percentage. If you don't have a system yet, build one this afternoon. Go into a tool like Claude or an agentic platform and map out how you would automate one repetitive part of your job. Even if you haven't deployed it at scale yet, the fact that you can design the workflow makes you an architect in the eyes of a recruiter. Stop updating your resume and start re-architecting it. The 5.5-month job search ends when you stop applying as a worker and start applying as a system designer. You have the talent, you have the experience. You just need to show them the machine you've built. Go build your machine. I'll be here when you're ready for the next step. Good luck.